Help. Hi, Zizaran here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about flasks in Path of Exile and just, repetitive strain injury and stuff like that in general. I often get asked, are your hands not in agony? You play the game all the time. Like, why aren't your hands burning up? And that is a very good question because Path of Exile is very, very extreme on your hands. So first, let's talk about flasks. Flasks in Path of Exile right now is kind of insane. First of all, it's so much power that it's pretty much mandatory, right? You notice an extreme difference just by putting on a utility flask like a jade or a granite or a quartz flask. It can grant your character close to immortality. It gives you ailment immune. So it's like very, very insane for clearing. There's a very, very big difference. So saying like, oh, well, just don't use them is obviously not an option. And another thing that's a problem is you have to click them depending on how your flasks are rolled and how much duration you have, you have to click them once every 4, 5, or 8 seconds. I'm scared of my flask dropping off, so I'm over flasking. That's why personally, I will always roll Chemist. I'll never ever roll Duration intentionally, because I'm never going to perfectly hit my flasks. I'm always going to be clicking them too much. So I'm clicking them every 3 seconds. I need a very high clear speed build to keep up with my flask usage, but that doesn't feel good on your hands either. If we go in game, like you're basically just like boom all the time. So whenever I'm like playing the game, it looks something like that. Well, I mean, every 3 seconds, and that's not great. That's like maybe too much. And this has gotten worse and worse during different parts of Path of Exile, because back in the day, back in the olden days, you wouldn't kill monsters that fast. You weren't able to keep your flasks up all the time. So you would maybe see like a large granite golem, the ones that could like roll. They used to be very dangerous, and you would maybe save your granite flask for either that or monsters that charge. And then you're like, oh, here's a dangerous monster. I'm going to flask, then I'm going to kill it. And then it maybe made sense. First of all, flasks were even stronger back then. They had like 10,000 armor on flasks. And we didn't refill them as much. And you would go back to town to refill them. But yeah. But now we're clearing a lot faster. Flasks are basically permanent equipment for maps. Obviously, bosses, you can't have flasks up all the time. But when you're in a map, quite a lot of builds, at least everything I play, would have 100% uptime on flasks. So if GGD tomorrow said flasks are now just equipment, right? The only thing that would change would be bosses pretty much, right? Things where you normally can't have them up anyway. It wouldn't change maps at all. So I think that's really bad. And it's really like, it's not even just flasks, it's combined with all the other issues. And flasks are an insane amount of power, especially with like unique flasks. Like you have Dying Sun, you have Bottled Faith. There is a lot of really powerful flasks. So is it too much power? And are we relying on them too much? Like maybe there should be a rebalance there and take some power away from flasks. Or, this is probably a very, very unpopular opinion, but I don't like flasks being up all the time. I would rather flasks be similar to Val skills in the sense that you cannot gain charges while it's being used. That's like slightly from a power point of view and slightly from a, oh my god, my hands point of view. And it's not necessarily the best solution. This is just one I think would be quite interesting. It might even end up being a really, really bad one. I'm not a developer, thankfully. They should probably rebalance flasks. Are they going to do that for PoE 2? Are they going to do that before PoE 2? I don't know, but they probably should. Until then, I think they should let people use fast macros. There are so many people struggling with it. I was once accused of using a fast macro. Obviously, a streamer would never use one. Seems like a dumb way to risk your career. And I probably wouldn't use one on hardcore either. Because on hardcore, you do not always spam your flasks. Depending on what you're doing. Obviously, especially in boss fights, you use one at a time. But on hardcore, you're sometimes popping just your quartz, just your quicksilver. So, not so much for myself, but because I just see so many people struggling with it. And even if I don't think I need one, or I don't really want to use one, I would still like other people to be able to use one. Because if other people are getting like, you know, I surprisingly, I don't have that much hand pain personally. It's something I see so many people complain about. And it doesn't affect me if other people are using a flask macro. I mean, obviously, loads of people are using a flask macro right now. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect how much currency I make or how much fun I have in the game. And obviously, it's particularly bad for people that are either missing an arm or missing fingers or broken something, stuff like that. So, I don't know. I think currently, when they're already okay with the logout macros, which is one action, I think what GGG should do is on the, if you go to options and input, you should be able to bind a key to multiple potions. You don't even have to like have an external macro. Just literally let people bind like one could affect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's that simple. Then you don't have to worry about like, oh, maybe it's harder to detect people using more advanced macros. Literally just bind it in game. I don't think there's any downside of that right now. I think it's in a really, really bad state. And I think the health of your players should be the most important thing, because this is not the only issue. It's not like Flask is the only thing. Like, yeah, Flasks are quite bad in Path of Exile, but at least we have auto pickup, or at least we have AoE pickup. And I think that's pretty much all I have to say about Flasks. Basically, just let people bind multiple flasks to one key. And that's coming from somebody who I don't care that much about it, but other people do. And again, before I talk a little bit about loot in PoE, like just for me and hand pain, I do hand stretches every day. I try to be proactive because I feel like if you're doing something when you're in pain, it's kind of too late already. So I've just looked up some hand exercises. Don't like go research your own hand exercises. I'm not a doctor. Maybe the one I'm about to do will break your arm. But I just do like stuff like this and this, and I don't know if you can see, but I'll like do that. And I find that helps me quite a lot. Maybe that'll snap off your thumb. So I don't know, do what I did and just look up like hand exercises from like professional hand doctor people. I'm sure they have a word. Chiropractors? No, fuck, I don't know. This is why I'm a streamer. I'm not particularly smart. But either way, like hand exercises and being proactive, I do like 5 to 10 minutes every fucking single day. Because I don't want to be like halfway through a map and my hand just falls off. And the hand just goes, sorry, you weren't exercising me enough. I fell off. Get a new one. And then let's talk about looting in Path of Exile. Personally, I'm not a fan of auto pickup. I don't want the game to go closer to an idle game or an auto clicker game, right? Some people do, and that's fine. But why are Perandus coins dropping still in like 10 different stacks? Why not just one? Like, why? And I really do like the AoE looting in Last Epoch. I don't care if they give us a filter that like, okay, when I click AoE loot, it'll loot these similar things. I don't mind that. I really want there to be a conscious decision of I am looting these items. I don't want just everything to be sucked in. I don't want to be a vacuum cleaner just going around like, loot. So like, and again, it's completely okay if you are. I don't. I want there to be a conscious decision still. But I, you know, for Breach, you could probably drop them more like in bundles or something. I don't know. There's so many things. Like looting in PoE right now is very, very bad, I think. It is a problem. It is much a problem. And I mean, loot in general, there's way too many everything dropping. I would way rather see a huge pullback on loot. Like a huge reduction in loot and better loot. I'd way rather find like 3 rare items per map, and there's a decent chance that those 3 rare items will be good. If I find a rare ring or a rare amulet, and I'm like, we found an amulet, I think I would enjoy that a lot more than finding 16 amulets per map and knowing all of them are trash. I just think it's important to keep bringing up because, in my opinion, they need to do something. They need to keep working on less clicks per game. Honestly, I'm very tempted to run like a click tracker. How many clicks do I do per game or per day in Path of Exile? I guarantee you it's a large amount higher than any other game I play. there's not much like I'm assuming a lot of people feel very similarly. So it's not like I can be like, how do you guys feel about this? Do you guys love clicking? But yeah, I just wanted to make a video about it. I think it's important to keep bringing up, and hopefully they will change it and allow people that do need it to bind Flasks to multiple keys. I think that would be a very, very good band-aid solution. I don't think it should be the permanent solution, but I think a band-aid solution is okay right now. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sub if you like it. Thanks so much for all the support, and more importantly, try to die less than I do.